learners, welcome to the tourism lesson. My name is Torigle Tebe and this program is proudly brought to you by the Gauteng Department of Education. Our topic today, grade 12, is global events of international significance. Congratulations on making it this far. Happy 2024. This is going to be a very busy year for you grade 12s. Therefore, make sure you listen, you learn, you ask questions, and you understand. So that is going to be very easy for you. All right. Our numbers are 063 508 1301. If you've got a question, make sure you send us a WhatsApp on 063 508 1301. Let's move on. We are going to look at the global events of international significance. Global events of international significance and political situations and unforeseen occurrences of international significance. We are going to look at all these aspects, all right? And then in your examinations, you are going to come across the questions on section E, question 9. Do you get it? First of all, the structure of the tourism paper, assessment of tourism, we've got control tests, skills assessment tests, PET, preliminary examination, and the final examinations. All these contribute to your pass mark. Therefore, make sure you do all your assessments and be serious. They are very important. All right. And then let's move on. Global events of international significance. We are looking at the concept global event. When we are talking about global event, we are talking about the event that affects the whole globe, that affects the whole world. That is a global event. The event that is attracting all the countries, that is attracting all the people to it. We call that a global event. The event that is being recognized by the whole world. All together. All right. We've got global sporting events. When we are talking about global sporting events, these events are very important, right? You need to know them. These are global sporting events. We've got FIFA World Cup. When we are talking about FIFA World Cup, this is a sporting global event that takes place every 4 years. Remember the recent one that we have, right? We had a FIFA World Cup in Qatar. You still remember that? Good. And remember, we once hosted the FIFA World Cup in 2010. All right, and then we've got the Wimbledon Tennis Championship. This is an event that takes place annually. If I say annually, grade 12s, do you understand what I mean? If we say annually, it's every year. The Wimbledon Tennis Championship takes place every year. Where does it take place? It takes place in London, in England, in the UK. All right, and then we've got Comrades Marathon. Comrades Marathon is a yearly event. It takes place annually. Every year it takes place, right? And we host the Comrades Marathon. Okay, it is approximately 88 kilometers. Remember, it takes place in South Africa from Durban to Pietermaritzburg. Pietermaritzburg to Durban. All right, that is a global sporting event that takes place annually. And then we also have Tour de France. Tour de France is a global sporting event that takes place annually as well. All right? Remember, we said when we say annually, say every year. It takes place every year. It is a bicycle championship. Okay, it takes place in France. And then we have Olympic Games. Olympic Games take place every 4 years, all right? And then they are not hosted in one country. The countries rotate to host it, as well as FIFA World Cup. The countries rotate to host it. Remember, we said in 2022, Qatar hosted FIFA World Cup. And what about in 2026? In 2026, it will be Canada, United States of America, and Mexico. They are going to host the FIFA World Cup. All right. And remember, in 2010, we hosted the FIFA World Cup. All right. And then Olympic Games, they take place every 4 years. All right. And then we've got other events that we can just mention. Don't dwell much on them, just mention them in passing. We've got the G7 Summit, which is formerly known as G8. We used to call it G8 because there were 8 states. Now it is G7 because there are 7 states. And then we've got different summits on climatic change. All right. These are just examples. And then we've got the positive and the negative impact of global events on international tourism. There are negative and positive impacts. When we are talking about the positive impacts of global events on international tourism, we are talking about the good. That is the positive. And when we are talking about the negative, we are talking about the bad. All right, we are talking about the bad. And then, for example, if I'm talking about the positive impact of global events on international tourism, we are talking about the good. For example, infrastructure. Because there will be infrastructural development. That is the good part. We are talking about revenue. We are talking about tourists coming to the country. That is the positive impact. That is the good part. And what about the bad part? The bad part of what? Of the bad impact of global events on international tourism. At times, we've got different negative things that are happening. For example, if there is an influx of tourists in our country, what's going to happen? Crime is going to increase. And at times, we tend to spend more on developing infrastructure. And at the end, when the global event has taken place, then we've got white elephants. What do I mean if I say white elephants? When we talk about white elephants, for example, if maybe we develop infrastructure, we build different stadiums, and then after the event, we don't use those stadiums, then they will lie idle. They are called white elephants because we're no longer using them. Okay. All right. Then let's look at the impact of hosting a global event on domestic tourism in the host country. When we are looking at the domestic tourism, remember what domestic tourism is. Remember, I did this when we were in grade 10. When we're talking about domestic tourism, we're talking about tourism within the borders of the country. That is domestic tourism. What are the impacts of hosting a global event on domestic tourism? All right. For example, when we are about to host a global event, what do? We prepare. We do a lot of work. We develop infrastructure, and then at times when bridges are being built, when the roads are being fixed, what will happen to domestic tourism? People won't be free to travel. Why? Because there will be a lot of things happening around. All right. And then what about the economy of the host country? When we talk of the economy of the host country, we're going to get a lot of revenue. Why? Because the tourists will be coming into the country and they are going to spend. All right? And then at times, the negative part, we can use a lot of money to prepare for the global event, and in return, we don't get that money back. All right? That's the negative part. And then we've got the advantages and disadvantages for the host country within a tourism context. Development of infrastructural services, investment, foreign exchange income, and the multiplier effect. All right, we are talking about the advantages and the disadvantages, the good and the bad. All right, let's move on. Political situations and unforeseen occurrences of international significance. Then let's look at political situation and unforeseen occurrences. Then we've got an example of recent political situations. For example, we can talk about civil wars, terrorism, and general unrest. When we talk about civil wars, what is a civil war, grade 12? Who can answer me? When you're talking about a civil war, this is a war within a country, all right? That is a civil war. It can be a war between the members of the same country. It can be on tribal grounds. It can be on religious grounds. All right. Let's take, for example, a country in Africa that is experiencing civil war. We take, for example, Sudan. All right. In Sudan, there's been a war, a civil war. People of the same country fighting one another. All right. And then we are talking about Sudan, that is what? Civil war. And then we've got terrorism. When we talk about terrorism, for example, 11 September 2001, what happened in the United States of America? There were 2 planes that were hijacked, and then the Twin Towers were affected, right? A lot of people died because those aeroplanes went to the Twin Towers and they had bombs and a lot of people died. That is an act of terrorism. And remember what happened in New Zealand. There is a man who was going to the mosque, Muslim mosque, and he was shooting the Muslims. That is an act of terrorism. All right. There are suicide bombers that we have seen in the world that go to the crowds and blow up. Okay, that is an act of terrorism. Do you get it, great horse? And then we've got general unrest. When we are talking about general unrest, great horse, we are talking about strikes. All right? For example, if people are not happy with the service delivery, they tend up to strikes, all right? And then we call that general unrest, okay? And it affects the country. It affects a lot, all right? Because the tourists cancel their flights, they cancel their holidays because of general unrest. Do you get it? Good. All right. And then we've got unforeseen occurrences. These are occurrences that take place, but they are unforeseen. No one is prepared for them. Okay. We've got unforeseen occurrences like tsunamis, earthquakes. We also have natural disasters. We've got global recession. We've got diseases. We've got accidents and economic upsets. For example, when we are talking about things like tsunamis, they are unforeseen. Earthquakes, they are unforeseen, all right? And then we also have volcanic eruptions. For example, what is happening now in the world? Remember, learners, tourism is about current affairs. You need to always listen to the news, all right? What is happening in Iceland? There are volcanic eruptions that are taking place, and people have been evacuated from that town where there are eruptions. That is an unforeseen occurrence. Do you get it? And then we also have earthquakes. We also have tsunamis. If I'm talking about tsunamis, maybe some of you are wondering what a tsunami is. All right? A tsunami is a big wave. All right? Tsunami is Japanese. When an earthquake strikes in an ocean, the water will go back to where there is a crack, and then it will be squeezed out, and then the water will go out at a very fast speed, and it will be a very big wave. Then it will sweep out of the oceans and kill people. All right, remember the tsunami that happened in Japan, and it affected a lot of countries. That's a tsunami. And then the earthquakes. We've got the earthquakes, we've got other natural disasters, we've got global recession, we also have diseases. Remember, we had COVID-19, okay? It is an unforeseen occurrence. It affected the whole world. It affected us a lot because we lost a lot of people. People died because of COVID-19, all right? And we lost a lot of revenue because people were not traveling. People cancelled their flights. People cancelled their holidays because everyone was afraid. People were staying at home, all right? And then that was what? That is unforeseen.
Attitude of gratitude.
All right? I'm going to take
What does that mean? An attitude of gratitude is the quality of being thankful. It's the quality of giving thanks. Ubonga, ulebuha. It's to be grateful. You and I have so much to be grateful for. You and I have parents who make sacrifices day and night for us to be at school. You and I have people who believe in us when we don't believe in ourselves, who love us when we don't love ourselves, who invest in us day and time again. Whether it's a teacher, it's a principal, it's a driver, it's a guardian, we have so much to be grateful for. And so I challenge you, young person, be thankful, ubonge, lebuha, be grateful each and every single day of your life. Strive to display an attitude of gratitude.
All right, great talks. We are just giving examples of unforeseen occurrences. We've talked about tsunami, earthquakes, and other natural disasters. These are unforeseen. And then we've got different types of diseases. Remember COVID-19, it affected us a lot. And then we also have accidents. Accidents are unforeseen occurrences, all right? Because we don't prepare to have an accident, but it just happened. It is an unforeseen occurrence, all right? And even the economic upsets, all right? And then please don't start the political situations in unforeseen occurrences as such. Just mention them in passing. And then the impact of these situations and occurrences on international and the economy of the affected country. Okay. And then we also have events of a limited duration that have a global reach. They require significant public investment and have an impact on the people, environment, and economy in the host country. Okay, events of a limited duration that have a global reach. When we are talking about events of a limited duration that have a global reach and they require what? Public investment and have an impact on the people, the environment, and economy of the host country. Right, when we have a global event, it's going to affect the environment of the country. It's going to affect the people of the country. It's going to affect the economy. When we are talking about the economy, when the visitors come or when the tourists come to the country, they spend, all right? When they spend, we benefit as the host country, okay? I want you to think about this when we are taking a 5-minute break now. Right, let's go for break. All right, grade 12. I think you have brainstormed a lot when you were having a break. All right. Events of a limited duration that have a global reach require significant public investment and have impact on the people, the environment, and the economy of the country. All right. It has got an impact on people because people are going to get employed. All right. And then some jobs are temporary, that's the disadvantage of it. And then on the environment, at times we don't treat the environment fairly. For example, if there are a lot of people, it will be congested, okay? And then if there are a lot of cars, there will be a lot of pollution and there will be a lot of noise, right? And we even disturb the nature because some of the events require people to make noise. People make noise at times, all right? Like blowing the vuvuzelas. And then what happens to the animals when we blow vuvuzelas, when we make a lot of noise? The animals won't be happy. Some animals like cats and dogs, some of them stray because they'll be running away from the noise and they get lost, all right? And then what about the economy of the country? When people come, they spend on transport, they spend on accommodation, they spend on food, all right? Therefore, we'll be benefiting from the tourists who are coming. But if it's a global event, it will stretch for a short time, then it will be over. Then things will get back to normal. And events are planned and organized in advance and held on set and recurring time frames. All right, events are planned and organized in advance. Therefore, the preparations for the event, they will make people get employed, temporary employment, and they will hinder domestic tourism because some people will not travel when roads are being constructed, when bridges are being constructed. All right, people will tend to stay at home and not travel to places of interest. Therefore, it has a negative impact on domestic tourism. Okay, and then criteria used to determine whether an event is a global event. All right, when we are talking about a global event, we are talking about the whole world, the whole globe. All right, that is a global event. All right, and then the global event draws people to it. All right, people are drawn to the global event. For example, a country that is hosting a global event, it will have a lot of inbound tourism. Okay, a lot of tourists will be coming into the country, and then it generates huge profits. It generates huge profits and requires specialized infrastructure. That's why we prepare well before. Okay, we prepare well before the global event. We prepare, build infrastructure, we prepare everything. Accommodation, restaurants, even the transport industry. Remember what happened when we were hosting the FIFA World Cup in 2010. There was an introduction of the Gautrain, all right? The state-of-the-art train, the fast train, okay? Gautrain was in place in 2010. That was in preparation for the World Cup. And then global media attention in print and electronic media. We had a global attention, all right? People from the whole world knew about us. They saw the adverts of places of interest. That's an advantage because people will be flocking into the country because of the global event that is being hosted. As they come in, some of them visit places of interest and some of them talk about the country. Okay, remember the word of mouth is very important, all right? And then some other people, other tourists, they also visit the country. And those people who came for the global event, they come again. We call that repeat visits. All right. And then multi-country interests. Multi-country interest. A lot of countries will be interested in the global event, and then tourists will be coming in. And then multi-country participation. For example, different global events, there will be a lot of people participating in it. And then draws large crowds from all over the world. All right, it draws large crowds from all over the world to the global event that a country is hosting. Okay, and then global events of international significance. We've got the FIFA World Cup. It takes place when? Every 4 years. It takes place every 4 years. For example, remember in 2022 we had FIFA World Cup, and Qatar was hosting the FIFA World Cup in 2022. And then in 2026, that is after 4 years. Remember 2022, 23, 24, 25, 26. After 4 years, it will be 2026 from 2022. And then there are countries that are going to be hosting the FIFA World Cup. We've got Canada, we've got Mexico, and the United States of America. All right, they will be hosting the FIFA World Cup in 2026. Right, and then that is a global sporting event. All right. Remember, there are a lot of advantages because people will flock to the host country. People are going to experience the culture of that country. They are going to experience the transportation of that country. All right? They are going to go to different places of interest and experience them. For example, in 2026, we have said the FIFA Soccer World Cup will be in Canada, USA, and Mexico. What's going to happen? People will go there for football. And some of us, tourism learners, will also go there to FIFA World Cup. But when you get there, if you're in Canada, you're watching a match in Canada, what are you going to do? You're going to go to Niagara Falls and see the falls because it is a place of interest, right? When you are in the United States of America, you will visit the Statue of Liberty, all right? You also go to the Grand Canyon, all right? Visit places of interest. There are a lot of places of interest, but I'm just mentioning a few. And when you go to Mexico, you make it a point that you visit Chichen Itza. All right. All these are places of interest. Okay. And there are other places of interest in America that you'll be going to see. That is the advantage of hosting a global event. Do you get it? For example, if you are in Mexico, you think of going to Peru. All right. You think about going to other countries that are in South America and experiencing the places of interest there. Okay, let's move on. Grade 12s. The other global events of international significance, we've got the Wimbledon Championship. It is a Grand Slam tennis tournament that takes place annually in Wimbledon, that is in London, in England, right? This is the cup there, all right? The Wimbledon Tennis Championship, all right? It is a global sporting event that takes place annually. And then we've got the Congress Marathon. It is an ultra marathon of approximately 88 kilometers, which is run annually in KwaZulu-Natal province. And then it takes place annually in KZN, that is in South Africa, between the cities of Durban and Pietermaritzburg. That is the world's largest and oldest ultra marathon. All right, this is Comrades Marathon, and this is the route that is from Pietermaritzburg to Durban. This is a global sporting event. Why are we saying it is a global sporting event? It is a global event because it draws a lot of people from different parts of the world. All right, people come to participate. All right, and some come to experience the country, some come to watch. All right, and then we've got another sporting event, that is Tour de France. It is an annual event. Okay, it is a men's multi-stage bicycle race held mainly in France, and we've got a 21-day long stages over a 23 or 24-day period covering 3,500 kilometers. That is Tour de France, and it is a bicycle race. Why is it a global event? We call it a global event because it draws people from different parts of the world. Right, it is recognized globally. Do you get it? Good. Let's move on. If you've got questions, grade 12, make sure you send a WhatsApp text. Don't call, don't send a voice note, but text 063 508 1301. The WhatsApp number again, 063 508 1301. Make sure you ask if you don't understand. We've got an amazing team behind the scenes that are going to answer all your questions. All right. And then we've got Olympic Games. Remember what we said about Olympic Games. Olympic Games are held every 4 years. That is Olympic Games. Okay. They are the world's most famous sport competitions with athletes from all over the world. And it features winter and summer sports competitions. Remember, it is held every 4 years. All right, that is the Olympic Games. This is the logo of the Olympics. And then it draws attention from the whole globe. Okay, it draws attention from the whole globe. That is the whole world. It is drawn to the global event. And then global events of international significance. We've got, remember in 2023, we've got a lot of World Cups in different sporting activities. We had Netball World Cup that we hosted. We also had the Rugby World Cup, which is at home, which we won. And then we also have the Men's Cricket World Cup. And then we've got the Women's Cricket World Cup and the Women's FIFA World Cup. All these World Cups were happened in 2023. Okay. And then you can have a look at these logos. These are different World Cups. And then we are saying they are global events. Why? Because they draw all the people from different countries to the host country. Remember, we hosted what? Netball World Cup in 2023. Okay, let's move on. Then we've got the other global events of international significance. These are the G7 Summit, that is formerly known as the G8 Summit. This is the group of 7 of the world's advanced economic, group of 7 is the world's advanced economies, including Canada, France, Germany, Japan, Italy, United Kingdom, and the United States, as well as the European Union. All right, grade 12s, we are going for a break. I'll leave your work on. Make sure you take a short break, drink water, and then talk about these global events. See you in 5 minutes. sacred tours. We are looking at other global events of international significance. Remember, we just mentioned them in passing. We've got the G7, that is the group of 7 of the world advanced economies. That includes Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, United States of America, the United Kingdom, as well as the European Union. And then summits on climate change. We've got the Conference of the Parties, that is COP28. When we say COP28, we are talking about the 28th Climate Change Conference 2023, where countries that signed the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change attend the conference. And this is a global event, okay? And then the positive and negative impacts of global events on international tourism. We've got the positive impacts and the negative impacts. When we're talking about the positive impacts, we're talking about infrastructure improve to world-class standard. The infrastructure improves to world-class standard. And then proven organizing abilities will also increase in both domestic and international tourism, and the repeat visits, which are very important, and increase in foreign tourist travels, and even repeat visits and increase in foreign tourist arrivals, because foreign tourists will be coming to the country for the event. Okay, remember the global event draws people from different aspects of life, from different countries, from the different parts of the world to the host country. Therefore, there will be a lot of foreign tourist arrivals. Then the host country is going to benefit. How is the host country going to benefit? It's going to benefit in the revenue, okay, because the foreign tourists are bringing in revenue, or can say money, for transport, for accommodation, and for food. All right, and we tend to benefit from that because all these stakeholders are being taxed, and when they are taxed, that money is used to improve our country. It improves the infrastructure, it improves a lot of things. All right. And then enhancement and recognition of international cultural diversity. All right. And then what about the negative impact? Negative publicity if something goes wrong. Because if something goes wrong, it will be publicized in the whole globe. Everyone will know what has happened, right? And then there is also an increase in criminal activity, because the global event is going to attract a lot of people from different parts of the world. And then there will be a lot of criminal going on, okay? Why am I saying it increases the criminal activity? It is because it draws different types of people. Even criminals are being attracted. They come to the country, okay? And then there's culture shock, okay? There's culture shock. Not everyone in the world accepts cultural differences. Other people don't accept other people's cultures. Therefore, that is culture shock. All right, that's a negative impact. And then remember, we said we've got positive and the negative. And when we're talking about positive, we're talking about the good, and the negative, we're talking about the bad. Domestic tourists likely to participate in unique global event as it is hosted in their country of residence. All right. Then domestic travel may increase due to improved facilities, attractions, and services. Then people will tend to travel. They travel within the borders of the country. That is domestic tourism. And then increase in domestic tourism caused by opportunities associated with global events. And then the negative impact, that is the bad part. Major construction in infrastructure taking place may discourage domestic tourists to travel, because when there is construction, it's not a good place to travel, okay? Especially in preparation for these global events. There will be a lot of construction. There will be a lot of development. Therefore, people tend not to travel much, all right? And then prices are usually high during global events due to increase in demand. Prices are usually high during global events. Why? Because the demand will be high. For example, let's say you are an entrepreneur, okay? You make your own beads. There's a global event. You make your own beads, maybe make bracelets or necklace or headgear. Then you sell at a global event. And then, let's say maybe you are selling bracelets for 20 rands. And then in no time, the bracelets will be finished. And there will be a lot of people still asking you, when are you bringing some? When are you bringing some? Then you go and make some more. You sell, you increase the price now because there are a lot of people who want to buy the bracelet. Then you increase the price. From 20 rand, you say 30 rand and just test the waters. See if people are going to buy. Then they buy and finish your bracelets for 30 rands. Then the following day, you make some, you increase the price, they still buy. Therefore, it affects the common person on the street. Why? Because the prices will be going up due to demand, because there will be a lot of people, remember. Okay? And then places may be fully booked. There will be large numbers of people, and influx of foreign tourists will be coming to the country. Therefore, the places might be fully booked. Then it will hinder you from traveling. Okay? It is a negative impact. And then congestion or even overcrowding will discourage domestic tourists, because domestic tourists will say, it's now overcrowded, there are a lot of people, let's avoid, let's not go now, let's not travel now, we'll travel later after the global event. That is a negative impact. All right, let's move on. Red 12. And then the positive impact, there is an increase in tourist arrivals, increased tourist revenue, we're talking about money now, and then skills development, increase in GDP. What is GDP? This is gross domestic products, all right? And creation of entrepreneurial opportunities and employment, and increase in profits due to increased business transactions. And repeat visits, which are very important. We need tourists to come back, all right? We need repeat visits. When they come for a global event, some of them will go to places of interest, and some of them will think of coming back to visit the places they didn't visit, or come back and visit the places they visited because the hospitality was good, all right? And then negative impact. This is the bad side. Negative impact. Large sums of money spent in preparation of global event. At times we will spend a lot of money, and at times that money is not coming back after the global event. And infrastructure may become white elephants. When we say infrastructure will become white elephants, what do we mean, grade 12s? Let's take, for example, stadiums. After the global event, some stadiums won't be used and they will lie idle. We call them white elephants. If we use infrastructure now for the global event, and after the global event, if we don't use it, it lies idle, then we call it a white elephant. All right. And then loss of employment after the event. Remember, when we are the host, there will be a lot of employment opportunities. But these will be temporary because they will be catering for the global event. When the global event is over, then people lose their jobs. There will be retrenchment. All right. And then negative publicity if something goes wrong. And then money invested may be more than profits generated. Okay. Let's move on. Grade 12s. And then the advantages and the disadvantages of the host country. All right, let's look at the advantages. Increase the foreign revenue leads to a positive stimulus to the GDP. All right, we're now talking about the gross domestic product. And the multiplier effect comes into effect due to money spent by tourists and increase in tourist visitor numbers. All right. Remember we said when foreign tourists come to the country, they will spend money on transport. They will spend money on accommodation. They will spend money on food. All right. And then a lot of people are going to benefit. We can benefit directly or we can benefit indirectly. When we benefit directly, let's say there is a global event and I go and work there as your mother. And then when I'm working there, let's say maybe I'm working at a hotel, and then I will be paid directly. Okay? And then you are going to benefit as my children. Okay? You benefit directly. And then when you're talking about benefiting indirectly, for example, the infrastructure will be improved, the roads will be perfect. Then we all walk in roads, we all drive on roads, and then there will be stadiums, a different infrastructure that is being developed. Then we are benefiting indirectly. Do you get it? You can benefit directly or indirectly. And then investment opportunities for the host country. There are a lot of investment opportunities for the host country because when tourists come to the country, some fall in love with the place. Then they think of investing in the country because of the hospitality that we in the tourism industry, we are going to offer them. And then infrastructure or facilities. Services created for global events may be used for global events, still benefits the tourism industry. Okay. And then there are also disadvantages. We were talking about advantages, but disadvantages. Large sums of money are invested in developing infrastructure, and over investments during global events. After global events, the investment is no longer sustainable. Okay. And then white elephant structures were only used during global events and loss of investment. Now you know what white elephants are, isn't it? And then fluctuations in the exchange rate. A strong currency have a negative impact on inbound tourism of the host country. This that's leading to a decline in inbound tourism, the tourist spending and GDP of the host country will decrease. All right, what are we talking about here? We are talking about the value of the money. For example, if the host country's currency is strong, then inbound tourism, it won't be much, it will be affected because people from their countries, if they bring money and find out that their money is not at the same rate as the money of the host country, they may decide not to come because their visit will be very expensive. Their holiday is going to be very expensive. That's a negative part, okay? But it becomes positive when the currency of the host country is weak and you are bringing in your currency that is strong, then it will be a cheap holiday. People tend to spend more, then the country is benefiting. But in this side, if we say fluctuations in the exchange rate, a strong currency have a negative impact. If the host country's economy is strong, then it has got a negative impact. People won't come because it's going to be very expensive for them to visit. All right. And then let's look at more advantages. Increase the foreign exchange. The host country increases the foreign current reserves, which can be used to pay for imports. And then weak currency benefits. Okay, weak currency beneficial for tourism industry as inbound tourists exchange their currency for local currency and get more local currency in exchange for their foreign currency. Okay, the weak currency is benefiting the inbound tourists. They will want to spend more because it's a cheap holiday for them. They tend to spend more. Then the host country is benefiting. Therefore, it is an advantage. All right, let's move on. All right, when we look at sustainability, okay, we've got social. When we are talking about social, we are talking about people. All right, that's social. We are talking about people. And then we've got the environment, okay? When we are talking, remember, sustainable tourism have got 3 pillars. We've got the social, we've got the environment, and also the economy. Okay. Then social, we're talking about people here. Then the environment, we make sure we treat the environment fairly. Okay. Why am I saying that? Because at times you tend to disadvantage a place. Okay, for example, if we host a global event, there will be a lot of cars, there will be a lot of pollution, there will be a lot of noise. All right, pollution is not good, noise is not good. Why am I saying noise is not good? It is because there are some animals, for example, we've got dogs, we've got cats. If there is a lot of noise, what happens? It disturbs them. They tend to run away. They tend to run away even from home, and then they will be lost. Okay? Noise is not good for them. All right? And then economic. We are talking about money. When we are talking about economic, we're talking about money. Do you get it? Are we getting money from this? From hosting this global event or not? We are talking about the economy here. All right, grade 8. I'll leave you with the podcast situation. Make sure you read this. Then we'll take a short break. Okay. All right, grade 12, we are looking at political situations and unforeseen occurrences of international significance. Political situation. A political situation is a situation that occurs as a result of the problems within a country's government. That is a political situation. When citizens of a country are unhappy with their government, then there is a political situation. At times there will be demonstrations of violent behavior, and the examples include civil wars, terrorism, and general unrest. We've talked about those ones. And then unforeseen occurrences. These are not expected. They are a surprise. These are unforeseen occurrences, like the volcanoes, like the mudslides, like the landslides, like the earthquakes. Okay, these are unforeseen. And examples of political situations. We've got general unrest. These are the riots, these are general strikes, these are protests, and then violent rebellion against the government, civil war, people of the same group fighting each other, people of the same country fighting each other, military coup, when the military of a country takes over the government by force. Okay, and then acts of terrorism, often based on different beliefs. It can be on tribal grounds, it can be on religious grounds. And then bombings and killings of innocent civilians, and then genocides. When we're talking about genocides, we're talking about mass killings of certain groups of people. And then we've got examples of unforeseen occurrences. Okay, we've got, remember, natural disasters, accidents, diseases, globalization, and economic upsets. All right, we've got different examples there. We've got tsunamis and natural disasters, earthquakes, floods, cyclones, wildfires, avalanches, mudslides, hurricanes, droughts, lightning, and volcanic activity. These are natural disasters. They are natural. We don't have control over them. And then we've got accidents. We've got airplane crashes, we've got train accidents, we've got stampedes, we've got collapsing buildings, we've got sinking cruise liners, and imploding submarines. You remember the submarine that imploded last year, okay? Killing all people on board, okay? It imploded. And then we've got diseases like the COVID-19, cholera, influenza, malaria, and tuberculosis. All right. COVID-19, it affected the whole world. Then cholera, remember what is happening now in Zambia. People are dying because of cholera. And then we've got global recession. 2009 global recession, 1991 global recession, 2020 COVID-19 global recession. And then we've got economic upsets, okay? We've got the US, that is the United States of America, economic upset. That was in 2008 and 2009. And then 2010 European sovereign debt series, and then 2012 Greek financial crisis. Okay, all those are unforeseen occurrences. And impact of unforeseen occurrences on international tourism. We've got them. Tourism industry will come to a standstill. That is cancellation of flights and holiday packages in the affected areas, as the majority of the infrastructure will have been damaged. Okay, tourists will not be able to communicate with people in the affected areas to determine the extent of the damage, and will rather not show up. If there is a problem, you'll rather not go there. Okay, tourists will avoid the area and travel to the alternative destinations. That is a decrease in tourists. And there will be a prolonged periods of zero tourism activities until infrastructure has been rebuilt. And then tourists may flock or travel in large numbers to an area to witness an unusual, unforeseen occurrence. For example, when an accident happens, what happens to people? People would flock to come and see the accident. That's what we are talking about. And then there will be decrease in tourist numbers. If tourist visits, they stay for shorter periods. If they are tourist visits, they'll just stay for shorter periods. And loss of confidence in the destination when it comes to safety measures or reliable and safe infrastructure. They'll lose confidence in an area. And tourist attractions get destroyed most of the times. And before the country can recover from one natural disaster, another one occurs. That's complicating the rebuilding process, like what is happening in Iceland, because there are volcanic eruptions, okay? And then destruction of the tourism infrastructure, economy and physical, and disruption to normal day-to-day operations, and then breakout of diseases. Okay. And then job losses due to damaged infrastructure. That's a negative impact on income earnings. And GDP is affected negatively. GDP will be affected negatively. And there will be a loss of revenue. There will be a loss of foreign revenue and loss in profits, and then decrease in tourist numbers, because the tourists want to visit a place that has got an unforeseen occurrence, a natural disaster or any other disaster. They would rather not go there. There will be a decrease in tourist numbers. Loss in profit may lead to retrenchments, because the business is not doing well. Then what is going to happen? People are going to lose their jobs. They are going to be retrenched. They are going to be laid off. And closure of tourism businesses, like what happened during COVID-19. Okay. And then there will be higher unemployment because of these unforeseen occurrences. And negative impact on the country's economic growth. Negative impact on the multiplier effect, as there will be decrease in tourist visits, that's leading to decrease in spending. And then a decline in foreign tourist visits will result in decreased foreign income. And then the multiplier effect will be negatively affected due to fewer tourists visiting the attractions. And domestic travels, it will be affected, areas will decrease, resulting in decrease in visitor number and spending. Okay. And then we've got examples of unforeseen occurrences. We've got floods. Okay. Remember, there were floods in South Africa in 2022 and 2023, affecting 7 provinces. This is a natural disaster. And then 10 October 2023, Afghanistan earthquake. That's a natural disaster. Okay. And then 20 September 2023, South Africa's Navy rowing class submarine SAS had high waves swept 7 crew members out to sea. That was an accident. Okay. And then we had the submersible Titan that was diving to view the Titanic on ocean floor. All 5 died in 18 June 2023. The Titan catastrophic implosion accident. You remember it when it plummeted, don't you? All right. Remember I said, as a tourism learner, you need to listen to the news. You need to know the current affairs, what is happening in the world. All right. And then we had COVID-19 outbreak, which was first identified in Chinese city of Wuhan in December. All right. This is a disease. Okay. It's an example of an unforeseen occurrence. And then there is the war in Ukraine, resulting to high inflation, food and energy crisis, and economic upset. And remember what is happening now between Israel and Gaza. Okay. it also affects the tourism industry. It is an unforeseen occurrence. It is an economic upset. All right, let's move on. All right, we've got different examples of recent unforeseen occurrences. Let's check the pictures if you can identify things here. Okay, just have a look at this. This is an accident. This is a cruise liner. It is sinking. Okay, it is an unforeseen occurrence. Remember, I said accidents are unforeseen occurrences. Okay, you see this cruise liner, it's busy sinking. And then look at these cyclones. Okay, it must be a hurricane. Look at the car accident here. Have a look at the volcanic eruptions. We've got different types of unforeseen occurrences. Okay, you can see if this picture here, lightning is striking and drought, animals are dying because of drought, an accident of a train. We've got floods. You see how they leave a place. We've got the winds. We've got the earthquakes. There's just a lot. We've got this must be a cyclone in the sea. And you see this, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, you see all these are unforeseen occurrences. Okay, and we also have wildfires, and then after some rains, you just check how the houses are. This is catastrophic. This is very bad. Okay, these are unforeseen occurrences. All right, I'll leave you with the example of recent unforeseen occurrences. We'll take a short break.
Excellence. Excellence is a habit. Excellence is a quality you have, a quality I have. It's a quality we have when we honor what is true to us. Yes, we are gifted differently. uNkulunkulu akasinganga ngokufana. Excellence is striving for your best. Whenever you have a particular project, test, homework, uzibuze, ask yourself, is this my best? Can I put in more effort? Excellence is striving to be in the top 1% of the area in which you are gifted. And so I challenge you, in every single thing that you do, in every single area that you're gifted in, whether it's sports, it's academic, ucula, whatever that gift is, strive for excellence.
All right, great talks. I think you have understood. If you've got problems, if you don't understand anything, you're going to send a WhatsApp text on 063-508-1301. For now, I want you to copy the homework. Make sure you go and write the homework. Okay, these are the questions. Okay, let's copy the questions. I'll give you 4 minutes to copy the questions. grade 12. Hope you are done copying the questions. And remember, grade 12s, when you revising, when you learn a topic, make sure you look for a past exam question paper and look for that topic and answer it. Then you are rest assured you are answering an exam type of question. Then you are going to make it in tourism. We want level 7s. It's possible we can get level 7s in tourism. All right. Make sure you take past exam papers, prelims, and the finals, and you revise. Revise the topic that you have covered. Attempt the questions, answer them, then take a memo and mark them yourself. Then you will be practicing. Then you know you're going to pass, you're going to make it in tourism. And make sure you ask if you don't understand. Our WhatsApp numbers are 063-508-1301. All right, grade 12, it's been a pleasure being with you. Therefore, we are going to end our lesson today. All right. Thank you very much. So long for now.